We are back with another Dark MAGA podcast where, yes, we go over news, but it's all long form content, folks. We're not going over 50 different articles like we do in the morning. Today, we're going to check out what's going on with Ana Navarro being racist on CNN. And then we got Whoopi Goldberg just popping off on The View. And then we have some updates regarding the Epstein video that was edited. So I will show you that. And then we have Gavin Newsom. And I want to go over different segments of the Shawn Ryan podcast that I think are important to cover, because this guy is going to run for president. If you think he isn't, like I said, I'm willing to eat my words, but I would be shocked. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the news. And what we have here is Ana Navarro goes full racist, dismisses white man's opinion on CNN panel. See, the left is racist. I've said it time and time again. The Republican Party, conservatives, independents, we don't care about your race. It has nothing to do with the amount of melanin that you produce. It is, as far as I'm aware, there's not even a study out there that correlates the two, even in a strong way. There's not even one that shows cause and effect, by the way. I was being generous by utilizing the word correlation. There is no association or correlation that is strong enough for you to make the claim that the amount of melanin that you produce correlates to said something in terms of your arguments. But Ana Navarro here goes full racist. So we have it right here.
I want to respond to you saying that I was hyperbolic when I talked about a reign of terror.
Because that is hyperbolic.
No, it might be hyperbolic for you as a white man.
Oh, okay.
It's certainly not hyperbolic for me as a Latino. No, I'm not being racist.
It's incredible to dismiss my opinion for being a white man.
No, I'm not dismissing your opinion. I am telling you that what the Latino community, the brown community in America.
Speak in one voice.
Okay, well, let me speak with my voice. I mean, you said I was being hyperbolic. Let me respond.
Racially, sure.
I'm not. You being a white man as an insult?
When you invoke it to dismiss my
being
opinion,
a white man as an insult?
When you invoke it,
do you think Latinos are living under circumstances that other people may not be right now in this country?
We're about to have a.
I just needed to pause it. God, she's so annoying. Can you imagine being married to this? God.
Whole conversation about that very thing. But I just want to make a point that, Brad, all she's saying is that her view of the situation is different from yours. I don't think that's an insult.
She basically said I'm wrong because I'm a white man.
She just said I see it differently.
I said I see it differently.
She said,
don't worry, Brad. We'll roll the tape back and we'll play it again. But the race baiters, they're out here.
I see it differently from
I got you, Brad.
You, which is not an insult. It's not, and it's also not a racial insult.
It's also not an explanation why.
Yes, it is. Oh, we're playing again. It's only a minute. You're damn right we're playing again because I want to make sure that we got it on tape.
We have a lot more to discuss on this very topic, so we'll have some time.
We're going to play it again. But isn't it crazy that it always has to go with race? And then she goes, well, you don't think that there's Latinos that are living differently than white people? White people are being deported too. I'm sure that's what this has to do with, because it talks about Supreme Court greenlights Trump's mass firings at the Department of Education. But I'm sure she's also correlating it to the mass deportations that are taking place, because about 87% of illegals are Hispanic. There's white people being deported as well. And by the way, if you're here illegally, yes, you should be worried about being deported because you're here illegally. It's no different than if you committed some sort of crime out there in the ether, regardless of race. Wouldn't you be a little worried that you might have been caught for doing said crime and they just haven't got you yet? So you're always kind of looking over your shoulder. So we're going to play it again because you heard from the horse's mouth this has nothing to do with race. Yeah, no, Ana Navarro wasn't making a point based on race here. Well, I got to hear it. I got to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Also, I want to respond to you saying that I was hyperbolic when I talked about a reign of terror.
Because that is hyperbolic.
No, it might be hyperbolic for you as a white man.
Oh, okay.
It's certainly not hyperbolic for me as a white man. As a white man.
Oh, okay.
As a white man.
Oh, okay.
As a white man.
Oh,
did she say as a white man?
As a white man.
Oh, okay.
It's certainly not hyperbolic for me as a Latino. No, I'm not being racist. I'm not being as a Latino. No, I'm not being as a Latino. No, I'm not being racist.
It's incredible to dismiss my opinion for being a white man.
No, I'm not dismissing your opinion. I am telling you that what the Latino community, the brown community in America.
Speak in one voice.
Okay, well, let me speak with my voice. I mean, you said I was being hyperbolic. Let me respond.
Racially, sure.
I'm not. You being a white man as an insult?
When you invoke it to dismiss my
being
opinion,
a white man
yes.
as an insult?
When you invoke it,
Are you?
as
Do you
an
think?
argument.
Do you think Latinos are living under circumstances that other people may not be right now?
No, I hand to God, I don't believe that. I think everybody lives in all the same circumstances. It just has everything to do with the environment and the culture of which those circumstances are happening. There's black people, Hispanic people, Asian people. They're all poor in some case or another. Black, Hispanic, Asian, white, doesn't matter. All being deported. There are different rates and disparities because it depends on just the proportion of which is here illegally. It just so happens there's a small number of Asians and whites that are here illegally. It just so happens to be more Hispanics than anybody else. So yeah, you would see more deportations just by the proportion alone, because there's more people here of said race and ethnicity than the other ones being deported over the other ones because there's just more. So you'd see more of it. In the same way, how often, you got to break it down for these people. Patriots, take a break. I know it's an early water break right now. We've only been live for about 7 minutes, and you might have not even touched your coffee, drink, or whatever the heck you're doing here. But you have to break it down for these people. See, there's a lot of tornadoes in the Midwest. Okay. Disproportionately a lot more tornadoes, right? And you get few and far between here in the state of California, virtually going your entire life and probably never seeing a tornado here. Now, because there's more tornadoes somewhere, you're probably going to see a lot more tornadoes in those specific regions because there's a lot more proportions of tornadoes over there than there is here. See how we're talking about proportion and then regions? In the same way, you can talk about proportions and then race or ethnicity with things. Because there's more of it, you're going to see more of it. I know. It's amazing how you snap your fingers and things work the way they do. It's remarkable, really revolutionary.
Because we're about to have a whole conversation about that very thing. But I just want to make a point.
Oh, let's hear this point. Let's hear it. We got to. Oh, baby. The intellectual, the one running the panel, which I don't know if she should be.
Right, that, Brad, all she's saying is that her view of the situation is different from yours.
Because of race. Because of race.
I don't think that's an insult.
She basically said, I'm wrong because I'm a white man.
She just said, I see it differently.
I said, I see it differently.
She said, I see it differently from you. Which
man?
Oh, okay.
It's a white man?
Oh.
As a white man? As a white man?
Oh, okay.
As a white man?
Oh, okay.
It's certainly not hyperbolic for you as a white man.
Oh, okay.
It's certainly not hyperbolic for me as a...
You guys are hearing that too, right? I don't know. My headphones are hello. Weird.
I think that's an insult.
She basically said, I'm wrong because I'm a white man.
She just said, I see it differently.
I said, I see it differently.
She said, I see it differently from you, which is not an insult. It's not, and it's also not a racial insult.
It's also not an explanation.
Hyperbolic for you as a white man?
Oh.
It might be hyperbolic for you as a white man.
It's not, and it's also not a racial insult.
It's also not an explanation why.
As a white man?
Oh, okay.
It's not an insult. It's not, and it's also not a racial insult.
It's also not an explanation.
Hyperbolic for you as a white man?
By the way, I'm editing all that myself in real time. That deserves a like right there. The fact that I'm pinpointing the exact moments back and forth on a timeline that I can't even see. Your boy's doing it right today. Hell yeah. Get in the game. Get in here. Racist. Because of the color of your skin, it automatically disqualifies you from any argument. We got to go to the chat. We got to go to the chat down here. Bridget Gabriel, imagine what would have happened if he had dismissed her opinion because she is a Hispanic female. Correctamundo! Correctamundo! Goal! Abby Phillip would have ended the segment and he would have been banned from the network. No, not just banned, canceled, deplatformed, fired from his job, barred from society. But see, because she's a minority, she gets to say whatever she wants and gets away with it. See how that works? If you're a white male, I was in a TikTok debate last night and this guy was claiming that I was white because of the color of my skin. And what's crazy, if anybody actually knows me and has seen old photos of me, I used to be dark, like extremely dark with blonde hair. So if anybody knew my dad or my mom, they both tan extremely easily. And a lot of it has to maybe do with, well, we'll just keep it at that. And I asked him, and it was so funny. I asked him, I said, so at what point do I go from white to brown because I go outside and tan? I just don't go outside. You guys know I'm a homebody. I always stay indoors. I don't ever go out. But at what point do I make that transition from white guy to brown guy? Because I can. And by the way, when I get tan, and I tan easily, the question would be, why do people all of a sudden think I'm Middle Eastern? Which is what I get. People ask if I'm Middle Eastern. They can never figure out where I am from because I don't look like a generic white dude. I've been asked that at work before. I think every workplace I've ever been, they ask, where are you from? Like, what's your ethnicity? Because it doesn't look like you're just a normal white guy. I have white skin because I don't go outside. But I tell you what, and he couldn't answer. He couldn't answer. It's hilarious. Somebody actually clipped it from what I heard. Glad to see things are exactly the same on this trash show. So glad that Abby is there to tell us why this isn't racist when it's said about a white person. Correct. In the span of a minute, by the way, I only had to go back exactly 60 seconds to make it about race, which is what Anna Navarro said. As a white man, this is a very common response when debating an angry liberal woman. Yeah, Thomas nailed it out of the park. Bias you can count on. First to report, first to distort. CNN, the most disruptive name in news. Damn, that is a good logo. Go ahead and screen grab that for yourselves, folks. That is an awesome logo there by H Mike. I love it. Incredible. So that's what's going on with Anna Navarro. You bet your ass we're playing it tomorrow on the Bald Brad Show. Bet your ass. Not everybody can be here. By the way, I did talk to Pat. Pat is doing okay, folks. I did talk to Pat. Pat's cool. Pat's good. And you can see Dizzy's in the chat. Hello, Dizzy. We were worried about you guys, okay? We have a community here that cares about one another. I don't give a shit if we got thousands of people. We know who everybody is around here. We keep our tabs on you. We care. We're a family. We're a family. Like that. I mean, that wasn't a very good Dom impression from Fast and Furious, but you know what I was doing there. Well, Whoopi Goldberg. God, my neck is so irritated. I need to shave it. Whoopi Goldberg attacks Mark Cuban for realizing that Trump sucks isn't good messaging. Are they waking up? Whoopi Goldberg unleashed on businessman Mark Cuban on Tuesday, complaining that he was getting things wrong when he said that simply complaining that Trump sucks did not seem to be working effectively as a message for the Democrats going forward. Well, the Democrats don't have a message. And what's fun is I've spent hours in these TikToks. You could just ask them, what are you going to do for all Americans? What are you going to do for the American people? They can't answer it. They didn't do anything for the last 4 years. They don't plan on doing anything for the next 4 years or however long. And I brought up the fact there's entire cities that haven't been ran by a Republican mayor in 50 years, 60 years, 100 years, 150 years, and they'll still blame Donald Trump for it. They'll still find some way, shape, or form of blaming Republicans. So here's the clip right here with Mark Cuban and Whoopi Goldberg.
Trump says, the sky is blue. Trump sucks. You can't, that's not the way to win. It's just not, because it's not about Trump. It's about the people of the United States of America and what's good for them. And how do you get them to a place where they're in a better position?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me remind everybody who was out in the front lines marching when we had the giant marches that went on. Nope. It was the people. Mm-hmm. The people went out.
Well, I mean, who else is going to do it? Right? Let me tell you who's going to be out there doing it. Are you going to send people's dogs and cats out there to go to the streets? What the hell is she talking? Like, who else is going to? Am I wrong here? Like, who the hell is going to be doing it other than people? What the fuck? Like, and people are like, oh my God, she's so right. She's just so. I mean, I know she's so smart, isn't she? She's like, no, it's an obvious thing. It's like coming out saying the sky's blue. Yeah, no shit.
They were not navel gazing. It was older people who were saying, why are you touching my Social Security? It was not people whining. It was about people saying, why are you taking these rights from my child when my child was born here? This has not been about Democrats laying back. This has been about y'all. This has been about y'all because their messaging was always the same. Democrats have been angry at what this man tried to do the last time. They've been angry this time. So I, with much due respect to you both, I'm
sorry. I'm feeling a little bit of cultural appropriation right now that she buzzed half her head. As a bald guy, I take offense to this. I just something I had to mention and get off my chest.
I believe you are pointing the finger at the wrong person when you say Democrats.
Are you delineating between voters and elected officials?
Yes, I am.
You're saying that, because I agree, voters
Yes.
are very impassioned.
Voters, and when you say Democrats, he's talking to us saying our messaging is bad. And I'm
Because it is. You lost. You lost the popular vote. Yeah, I mean the amount of localities that swung red is remarkable. You guys suck. Your approval rating is like almost negative. That's obviously not true, but it's low. It's in like the 20% range low. It's bad. You have no messaging. Nobody watches this show. We're merely just here clickbaiting this for content. That's all we're looking at here. Whoopi, you have no messaging. You just say things out there like Trump's bad. He's going after our social security. Well, you think going after your social security is bad now. Wait till you have no social security anymore. But you idiots out there, meaning your age range, not you, just you, Patriots, but I'm talking about her age range, but also the fact that, I don't know, the Democrat Party, we're supposed to be stoked as the younger generation when we retire that you're going to get 70% of your social security, meaning 30% of the money that you spent your entire life being siphoned out of your paycheck, whether you like it or not, just poof, gone, disappeared. Oh, I'm supposed to be excited. I'm supposed to be excited about that. Ah, got you, Whoopi.
I'm saying no. Gotcha. Our messaging has not been bad because people have been out. Well, people have been.
Then why'd you lose, bitch? I mean, why? If your messaging was so great, why'd you lose? I mean, your messaging was so bad that the guy you chauffeured out, you had to replace. I'm going to say this again. Joe Biden was the most popular president in American history, allegedly. And I'm using that word very carefully. Allegedly. You had to replace him with one of the worst candidates in American history, Kamala Harris, and your messaging still sucked. And by the way, nothing's changed. You guys are trash. You have no messaging. Nothing. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, this looks like this is interesting here. Let's get into a little bit of Epstein news. This broke about 52 minutes ago. I don't know why this is breaking news to people, this information here, but Epstein video edited confirmed FBI DOJ released altered footage. I'm going to try to find this in real time. This was not news to me. And for some reason, even Republicans, conservatives, influencers like, oh my God, the footage is edited. Yes. So let me actually find this. This was not part of the show. I just popped in my head, as many things do. But Dan Bongino, on his Fox News interview, talked about this, of the Epstein footage. And I want to see if I can find it for you. Fox News, Epstein. He actually said, hey, we're going to send you it. It's going to be edited. We want to clean it up for you. So here we go.
And there's going to be a disclosure on this coming shortly. We are working through there is video. That is something the public does not.
There's video of him killing himself.
No, not the actual act, but the entire MCC Bay, it was only one camera. There's video that when you look at the video, and we will release, that's what's taken a while on this. We are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans. You're going to see there's no one there but him. Right. There's just nobody there. So I say to people all the time, if you have a tip, let us know. But there's no DNA, there's no audio, there's no fingerprints, there's no suspects, there's no accomplices, there's no tips, there is nothing. If you have it, I'm happy to see it. There's video clear as day. He's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it.
So he starts with kind of a little bit of shame, right? When you're looking down and you're not willing to make eye contact with somebody, usually it's a sign of like, it's not the full story. He came out on his podcast. I'm not hounding Dan. I love Dan. I stand with Dan Bongino. I want to explain here what I think is happening in this segment, which came out before they ever released the video. You have a sense of, I don't want to say guilt because I don't want to speak on his terms of how he's feeling. But, when you go on a podcast and you have these ideas of what you think took place and they don't turn out the way that you thought, you do kind of feel a sense of shame that you're letting people down because dude, I thought there was all this stuff, guys. I mean, I talked about it for years. I thought there was all this stuff and there's not. And then so you could go from looking down, right? Not them in the eyes to now, if you notice, all eyes now. All eyes. Look, there's video and he's just looking at them in the face, which shows, hey, this is all we have. This to me is a sign of sincerity. Now, as you saw, he said, hey, we're going to give you a cleaned up version. I mean, that's what this is talking about in my understanding. Now, let's break this down. It says, breaking officials say that the metadata from the raw Epstein prison video shows approximately 2 minutes and 53 seconds were removed from one of the two stitched together clips. The cut starts right after the missing minute. That's a little weird. Newly uncovered metadata reveals 2 minutes, almost 3 minutes were cut from the DOJ and FBI's full raw surveillance video of Epstein's cell that night before his deletion. Look at that. So that's why people are saying the flicker is a little weird. Look at that. Now people go, oh, it's stitched together using Adobe Premiere. That doesn't surprise me based on what I knew it was going to be edited in some way, shape, or form. It's a little weird. We got time missing. I don't know why. Did they cut? I don't know, you guys. I mean, there's so many speculations and conspiracy theories around this, and I don't want to beat a dead horse with it. No pun intended, but we'll see. We'll see. So this is Wired. The FBI Jeffrey Epstein video had nearly 3 minutes uncut. Let's actually see what people are saying about this. Let's go to raw alerts here. So Grok, how would metadata show that there are 3 minutes missing when our eyes only show 1 minute? The visible 1 minute skip is when it appears in the edited video, but metadata reveals that the raw footage was stitched from 2 clips with an extra 253 trimmed out during processing, starting precisely at the skip. That's a little weird. That's a little weird. All right, so let me get this straight. Hold on, let's go. A prison wired with 24/7 surveillance somehow loses exactly 2 minutes and 53 seconds of footage, and those 2 minutes just happened to be during Epstein's death. The metadata confirms the cut. It wasn't corruption of the file. It wasn't a tech failure. Someone stitched the clips deliberately. We're not talking grainy analog tape here. This is HD digital, time-coded, auto-backed up. Every second has a footprint. This ain't the first time either. Back in 2019, they said the cameras malfunctioned during the first attempt. Then they said the guards were asleep. Then they said the logs vanished. Now the video was spliced. You start seeing the pattern. Meanwhile, one of the names that kept popping up at Epstein's logs was a Supreme Court justice's family member, not a theory. That was documented in unsealed logs. Go look. But sure, keep pretending it's all just incompetence. The story gets patched like an old denim jacket, one rip at a time. Interesting. It seems like a little bit like AI though, because there's those whenever you see those dashes, usually it's ChatGPT. Weird. Definitely weird. Let's see what Megyn Kelly still remains. She's as high up. Sources say it wasn't deletion, self-deletion case, strange case. Let's see here.
Look, Ben, you can't come to me and say everybody I know says he killed himself. And then I respond saying, I actually have my own sources who say he didn't. And then you say, well, your sources are not valid because they won't put their names on it. Okay, who are your sources? Let's go down the list and then we'll talk about why they might be saying that.
My sources are the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, Dan Bongino, the Deputy Head of the FBI, and Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. And those aren't just my sources. They're everybody's sources because they publicly came out and said this.
Okay. Trump hasn't specifically weighed in on that specific aspect of it. We've all seen the limited things that Trump has said and tweeted on this. And J.D. Vance was calling for transparency and suggesting otherwise prior to taking office. He hasn't commented on this so far, so he's not one of your sources.
He's the vice president.
You've got Kash, you've got Dan, and you've got Pam, and we've already discussed that memo in full detail. I'm talking about people behind the scenes who, prior to Trump taking office, I'm not going to get too specific, but trust me, I have high-level sources who have said they don't believe any of that. Any of that. Okay. So, and I'm not going to out them for purposes of convincing you, but you're telling me name them. No, I'm not going to. I don't have authorization.
I'm not saying
and then you say, well, I dismiss all of it because you won't name them.
Hold on, Megyn, I'm not saying you should name them. I'm saying they should name themselves because otherwise they are being complicit in one of the greatest cover-ups in the history of the American
Republic. That's easy for you to say, Ben. That's very easy for you to say.
Why is that easy for me to say? Why?
Because you'll have your job and you'll have your millions, no matter what they do. Are you kidding?
Megyn, give me a break. If somebody came out today and they were a whistleblower on the greatest scandal in the history of the American Republic, they would make more money tomorrow than in their entire life working for the FBI. That's ridiculous.
Okay, there are reasons not to cross the people who are in charge.
And usually now there's whistleblower safety protections that are in place. You see a lot of this with the UAP stuff that's recently come out. Now, there is some truth, like it's not easy. No, it's not easy. But this was also my point, and it's the first time I've seen the Ben Shapiro clip there with Megyn Kelly. My point is, if there's so many victims, like where are they all at? Like why haven't they come out publicly? And people are like, well, they'll get deleted. It's like we all get death threats. I get death threats all the time. It's like you gotta. If there's this many people, you're telling me at least they couldn't name all these people, these celebrities. I mean, look at one of these people, just one victim could come out and talk to any of the influencers out there. Benny Johnson behind the scenes, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel could talk to. I mean, I understand that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are kind of in the FBI now, but hell, we could talk about Megyn Kelly, Ben Shapiro. Not one victim is willing to, in some sort of roundabout way, talk to any of these people and say, look, I was part of the like 250 people that have acknowledged the fact that these heinous crimes happened against me. Here's a few people that it actually was. Not out of thousands of global. It's just hard to believe. And people are like, well, they're scared. It's like, yeah, but you could do it in so many different ways that is safe. You know what I mean? Well, there's these elites and they'll find them. They'll go get them. It's like, well, then no matter what you say, it's just you're always going to have some sort of comeback of like why they can't do something. Where it's like even by the sheer probability numbers, there's a thing called the law of total probability. And what that does is it takes into account all the probable factors that are taking place in some sort of outcome. It's called the law of total probability that we utilize in statistics. And so whenever you're looking at that, that tends to be your denominator. Okay. Well, when you're dealing with conditional probability, you would think that there's at least one person out of thousands, allegedly, or 1,000, however many victims there were, that the law of probability would tell you that one would probably arise here to come out and say, hey, this happened. They'll go, oh, well, it was the lady that was deleted. That was the one. Okay. Not 2 or 3. It's just that was the one. It's just, I don't know. I want justice, but it doesn't sound like the people that this happened to necessarily were willing to come out at all. I don't know. It's all weird. It's all weird. Metadata isn't evidence. It is evidence. Actually, they use metadata in the courts as well. So metadata is evidence. So I actually break that down for you. Metadata is used for like establishing timeline gaps. It's used for like authenticity and tampering, which is what they did with both here. Also, it helps with corroborating events as well. Utilize that for metadata. And it has legal weight, by the way. So courts often accept metadata as evidence in the chain of custody is preserved and is extracted by certified forensic experts. So you sometimes saw this. The times that I saw this is very rare because my time in forensic accounting and litigation wasn't that long. So I don't want to go into the weeds here, but there's a thing called available time when you're working as a public accountant, to where if you're in the office, you know, you have no clients right now, you're not doing compilations, reviews, or audits. And so you're kind of just sitting there twiddling your thumbs. Well, what you do is you send out a mass email to departments, because you're not just a assurance and advisory auditor. You know, there's tax accountants in the office, there's litigation departments, forensic accounting, business management. Like it's a firm, it's an accounting firm. And so I would always try to help out the litigation department, because there's this hot blonde that worked there. Mind you, I was single at the time. There was a hot blonde. So I was like, oh, I'll go help her out, because I get to, she's wearing the, nice skirts and stuff like that. You get some eye candy and you learn something. I mean, these people are smart, man, way smarter than me. And, you get to work with lawyers and stuff like that. Metadata got brought up quite a bit in the paperwork utilizing court cases. So it is evidence. It is evidence. I'm not trying to beat you up. I'm just saying. There's supposedly thousands of victims, but not one willing to speak up. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's weird. That's all. I'm not trying to hound anybody. You bring up, for some reason nowadays, you just bring up shit like conversation. You're like, hey, maybe this could be it. Oh, well, it can't be it. It's so easy for you to say that. It's like, really? I mean, of course it's easy for me to say that. Nothing happened to me. But it's like, if something heinous did, I'll rat you out. I don't give a shit. It's fucking Bill Clinton. He did this shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an a-hole, but I just find it odd there's thousands of people. And I did look it up. There's people that did come out in some sort of fashion, not publicly, but behind closed doors with people. And there was that one girl that people think got deleted by the Clintons, the one that was with Prince Albert. And that was it. That was like the one that I knew about, that everybody knew about. Other than that, it's like, where are all these girls at that allegedly had all these terrible, evil things happen to them by these elites, these global leaders, these Hollywood people? I don't know. I don't have, you guys don't have answers. I don't have answers either. It's weird how many of the victims have tried to come out and had an accident all of a sudden. I only know of that one, but I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm not one of those that do deep dives into this stuff. I just know that there were people that came out. So I don't know. Did I miss anything here? I want to make sure that I'm caught up on all the chats and stuff. So again, I'm not claiming I know everything. I'm just calling it out that I think is odd is what. That's all. That is all. All righty, here we go. All right, so we're going to check out the Shawn Ryan podcast. We're not going to watch this whole thing. That's crazy. It's a freaking hour. But I want to go over certain segments that I think we could find interesting here in terms of what Gavin's talking about. So this first part that we're going to go over, it looks like it's about 10 minutes, is him talking about California's economy and the gun control debate. The reason why is because Shawn Ryan gives him a firearm. Shawn Ryan always gives people or hosts like a gift. And this one was a firearm. You could tell that it seems like Gavin Newsom's never even really touched one, it seems like, or like really played with one. I don't know.
But so I'm wondering did you come here to hang out with the 92,000 Californians that
you're hitting me right there, man. The California exit. By the way, complete bullshit now. The last 2 years, we've seen significant growth in California's population. So it's reversed and record-breaking tourism. Now the fourth largest economy in the world. We dominate in every major industry, including the number one manufacturing state in America, 41% larger than the next largest state. And so we're really proud of California. And we went through a little rocky period over a 2-year period where there were some adjustments all across the country, one of 18 states, many red states too, not just blue states, that saw an adjustment of population during COVID. And now we're on the other side of that, seeing population growth back-to-back years.
Well, it's impressive. California is an impressive state.
Even if you hate it.
A very controversial state as well. Yeah. But yeah, I'd love to dive into some of the COVID and stuff later. But
one thing you're going to see, dude, Gavin Newsom is a slimy motherfucker, dude. You're going to see it on full display here. And I know a lot of you don't live in California, but the reason why you need to see this now is because you're going to see a lot more of them coming up here in the next 2 years, roughly, maybe less. This is why this guy's going to the East Coast having tours. This is why he's going to other states talking with people. He's going to run, man. I'll eat my damn... I would love to eat my words more than any other thing I've ever said here on the show if he decides not to run. I will be ecstatic and go, thank you, God. Thank you. My prayers were answered once again that he decides not to run because he's going to run this freaking country into the ground, man. He's driven my state into the fucking ground. I'm sorry to cuss. I want him out so bad out of office because he sucks.
But a couple things before we get started. So everybody gets a gift.
Oh, geez. What do you got, man?
Here we go. You ready for this?
Oh, Jesus.
Ready for this?
Is this an accident? I got to report this gift, man.
That is a California compliant Sig Sauer P365
it's a
macro.
nice firearm. That's a nice firearm.
I don't know exactly what makes it.
By the way, this is too cool. The fact that you would give me this.
You like that?
This up. So you just want me to TSA to take this from me and my ass is arrested at the airport. I'm on to you, man.
Well, I got a buddy at Sig, and now he was like, you got to get a Sig in his hands.
Make this up.
Jason.
Brother, this is fabulous. You know what? Last thing people would expect is that I respect this gift.
Really?
I appreciate, yeah, man. I'm not anti-gun at all. I'm for just some gun safe common sense that I think.
I'm going to try not to pause it too much. We have a lot of footage to cover.
I think vast majority of folks to the right and the left agree. And I think we've lost a little touch with some common sense around background checks. I think there's an age appropriateness. I do have some, I'm challenged by large capacity magazine clips in urban centers.
It's folks, Gavin Newsom has championed some of the nation's strictest gun measures. Okay, ever. He's targeted ghost guns, assault weapons, whatever the hell that means, concealed carry restrictions, as opposing the 28th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution and enshrined gun safety measures like universal background checks and raising the minimum age for gun purchases to 21. This guy, this guy has like led the brigade. Oh, I couldn't be more happy to have this. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Did you hear? California compliant. He started off saying it's California compliant. Doesn't that tell you that there is gun restrictions that I'm going against common sense. This nut job wanted you to put IDs, certain serial numbers on fucking cartridges, shell casings. This guy's an idiot. Yeah, there you go. Blackbird at the $5. The fuck did he just say? Yeah. Uh-huh. I love how I said I wasn't going to pause it. I just, it just irks me.
Weapons of war that are out there, sometimes outgunning the police. And I've experienced that directly with the loss of a police officer who was gunned down by an AK-47, and the police were outgunned in Bayview Hunters Point in San Francisco.
I think he was talking about the North Hollywood shootout. That's my guess, that they were outgunned back then. Well, that was because
but otherwise, man, people have the right to bear arms, and I got no ideological opposition to that at all.
Do you think
really? Because I wanted an S&P 2.0 S&P. Jesus. I wanted an MP 2.0 Smith & Wesson for my carry, and guess what? I couldn't get it in the state of California. It's amazing how these, there's certain firearms that people just feel comfortable with, right? It's no different than you utilizing a piece of machinery that just kind of fits your grip, right? It creates safety for yourself. You feel good with it. There's a reason why you don't give a small 5'2" woman, a massive firearm to go around and shoot things with. You kind of give her something small, a little dinky thing, maybe a 22 and 9mm. You don't really go above that. Don't give her 45 or anything. Too powerful for her. Give her something small to work with, and then maybe work your way up and let her get comfortable with it. But there's certain firearms that just feel good in the grip. I don't exactly, if I'm going to carry, I don't want to exactly carry a Glock around, guys. It's not exactly the safest firearm out there. I love Glock to death. I don't exactly want to carry a chunky thing. So if you keep limiting me and infringing on my shit of what I can carry and not carry, it pisses me off a little bit. And you're going to come on here and say it's a gun safety thing? Get the fuck out of here. Sorry, I got to shut up.
I was going to, by the way.
You're welcome.
That's crazy. Last damn thing I expected. I expected a hat. Okay, you gave me a goddamn gun.
Well, I got another gift for you too.
You okay,
but diving into the 2A stuff, I'm just curious. We see a lot of the cities that that you can't conceal carry, or it's extremely hard to get concealed carry, or California being one of them.
Yeah.
Illinois, New York. I mean, do you think that everyday citizens carrying a gun reduces crime or increases crime?
I think the evidence suggests the opposite. It increases the likelihood of a gun death. And you look at all the states with the most comprehensive gun safety reforms, they have lower gun death.
That's so snaky. I hope you guys caught what he just did.
Rates than states with weaker gun laws. And there's a correlation there. California is one of the lowest gun death rates in America. The highest murder rates in the country tend to be red states, significantly so. You look at the murder rate, 8 of the top.
I hope you just saw what he just did there again. Tends to be red states. Whoopi Goldberg did the same thing. It's red states, but it's the Democrat-ran areas in those red states where you see a lot of the crime. See how I told you, the guy's fucking good. The guy's good at talking. You have to listen carefully because people aren't going to listen carefully to this guy. What he just said was the same thing Whoopi Goldberg does. Oh, well, it's red states that have the highest crime. But if you look at those red states, they have blue cities, and those blue cities are the ones that are committing the crime. These fucking crafty, you guys. I want to get you onto this scummy, slimy shit. I'm used to it. I've seen this guy time and time again talk. He'll lie through his fucking teeth, and he's good at it.
10
casual
murder rates
just casual
per
lies
capita in the country are all red states.
Well, I thought Chicago was the number one.
No, as cities, you'll have different experiences, but at state levels, gun safety from our perspective saves lives, and we have the data to bear that out. You look at the common sense gun safety laws that California started establishing in the 90s. You look at our gun death rate from the 90s till today, significant reduction, nation-leading reduction in the gun death rate. So that's the prism to which I'm into the data, I'm into the evidence. I'm also deeply mindful and respectful of the Second Amendment and people's constitutional rights. But as it relates to just simple common sense around the idea we're addressing the issue of background checks, and we haven't fundamentally addressed some of those gaps where people that are struggling with mental health disorders and the like, or substance abuse. I just don't understand that gap.
Well, I think that the gap is at least for me, I can tell you why it bothers me. I mean, I carry a gun everywhere to protect myself and my family.
Appreciate it.
And when I hear about the background checks and you know, mentally unstable people. I mean, you know, a lot of veterans, I mean, almost all veterans are pro-gun and fought for the country and want to be able to own one to protect themselves and their family, and especially, you know, if there's any recourse from those wars, which, you know, we've talked about it on here. There's supposedly over 1,000 sleeper cells of terrorists within our borders, and you know, but if we go down that road, I mean, I know for a lot of veterans, me included, is you know, some people have been diagnosed with PTSD and depression and shit like that from coming home from combat. And so is it, you know, maybe we start with schizophrenia, but then the next thing is, oh, well, is PTS going to be on there? Is depression going to be on there? And am I going to lose my fucking rights, you know, when I fought for the country because somebody, you know, that deems me unstable? Well, maybe I'm not,
right?
You know, and
but a convicted felon, you know, someone that has had a violent, dangerous past, someone who's a domestic abuser. I'd like to red flag some of those folks. I mean, I
can't argue that.
Yeah,
can't argue that.
So unless we have a system that allows at least some.
See, it's slimy though again, dude. Slimy shit once again. This is the same guy that wants to remove your kids from your homes if you don't give them gender affirming care. Guess what that would fall over? So the moment that you don't want to call your son, who you legally named James because it's a biological male, Jessica, guess what? Your firearm's removed now. Yep. Yeah, I'm telling you, he's so good at it. It just comes across as just natural conversation for this guy because he's so slimy.
Vetting.
It's a snake.
With some objective constraints along the lines of which you suggest. You know, right now it's just this zero-sum game. It's like you're either pro-gun or anti. It's like, no, that's not the case, man. There's nuance here. Mm-hmm. And I think if you look, I mean, you look at, I'm not a polling guy, but it's interesting when you look at gun safety polling, like Fox News polls, and these sort of top 4 controversial issues, they're overwhelmingly supported, bipartisan support for some of these safety measures. And I just think people demagogue this, they demagogue on all sides. But that, you know, it's not inuring to a safer country. I mean, there's no other country in the world that has this kind of gun violence. And it suggests we're doing something very differently in the rest of the world. Everyone has mental health problems. Mm-hmm. It's not unique to the United States of America. It's not about that. Mm-hmm. That's not the issue. I just think it is the accessibility. The suicide rates are off the charts in the United States because of the simple access as well. So look, it's a tough issue. It's very divisive. It's weaponized. Again, blue and red, certainly weaponized nationally. But man, lived experience, former mayor, living in cities, dense urban centers, and looking at the evidence in California. I'm for, as I refer to it, common sense gun safety.
Well, which is just a fancy way of saying gun restrictions. But remember, common sense gun restrictions, yeah.
Let me ask you this then. I mean, I know you want certain weapons restricted, and, you know, there's the California compliant versions of everything, but it's really hard for people to get a concealed carry permit in California.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, because, I mean, the idea of, I mean, I think there's a cultural construct in California that people just don't want people running around with concealed carry. And, you know, folks you're running into in a restaurant or bar, or you're on the BART in Bay Area Rapid Transit, or you're in the school or in the playground, and everyone running around that's got a gun, and you know, the good guys from the bad guys. I think there's just sort of a cultural mindset around that, a concern around that. We allow for it. There's a process. There's, you know, law enforcement has a process. By the way, we exempt law enforcement from these gun safety laws in the vast majority of cases, along the lines of what you're suggesting as it relates to our veterans and military. There are exceptions to many of the rules that we advance. But on concealed carry, that's been a principle that we just believe in, a permit process. That
we just believe that we want to restrict your fucking right to have a firearm. That's just culture. We just, you know, the good guys, the bad guys. We don't want both having the firearms. Just the bad guys. You know, did you catch that shit? Was I the only one that heard that? Yeah, when you're at a playground, you know, there's people are looking around, the good guys and the bad guys. And it's just, you know, we don't want them both to have the firearms. You know, fuck the good guys. We want to make sure those bad guys have them. Though. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, admittedly, very comprehensive.
And it's what your state wants.
It's what the state, I think, overwhelmingly wants.
Well, I mean, I disagree with it. I mean, I do, you know, digging into your background, I mean, I've found a number of things that have a number of narratives against you that there's definitely some nuance on. But one thing that I did find is that it does seem that whether people want to fucking agree with me or blast me or whatever for saying it, I mean, it seems like you're doing what the majority of the population in California wants. And
yeah, and I mean, look, and it's not look, they don't hire me to be a weather vane, right? I mean, I think leadership's defined, they hire me for judgment and they want leadership. And so it's not about public opinion in that respect, but you have to be sensitive to public opinion. I did 2 gun safety laws that I actually put on the ballot so I can validate the assertion that I just made. That's where the public is, because my gun safety legislation overwhelmingly passed in California.
Interesting.
And so that was my initiative. I got out, I did signatures and put it in front of the voters, work with law enforcement on some exceptions and exemptions along the lines that I suggest. And it's been well received. Now there's certain pockets and camps that, folks in the,
I'm going to say this again. This guy's going to run in 2028. And if he's willing to do this to the state of California, what do you think he's going to what he's willing to do on a federal level? People aren't giving this the attention it deserves. Americans are sleeping on this shit because we got Donald Trump in office. It's coming, man. And you know what? I fucking have rarely been wrong here on the show. I've told you guys things that have happened 3 years later. And there's not one of those, I told you so. You fucking should have listened. That's not something I want to say. This guy will destroy the country, man. I'm praying to God, and I would put my hand on the Bible. I hope this guy doesn't run for office in 2028 and win.
The gun rights movement, look, I'm a poster child for them. I get it. Except, what did I do on Mother's Day? I was at Wing and Barrel with my kids.
Hey, asshole, what'd you do on during COVID where you went to the French Laundry to have this bougie-ass dinner with all your friends while we were all fucking stuck at home?
A 9-year-old doing skeet shooting.
No shit.
That's what I did on Mother's Day.
Are you any good at it?
I'm not good. I'm great at it. Okay,
we're supposed to be
I've been doing it for
notify
years
the
and years.
newspapers. The guy with skeet
record.
shooting.
You can laugh. I wish we were doing that right
Your
now.
wife must be a shooter.
Mother's
Day for skeet shooting?
Mother's Day skeet shooting. God is my witness.
You got a cool wife.
And so we're with the kids and we're with grandpa and grandma. And, she grew up and we got married in Montana. My daughter's name is Montana. Family has a ranch out there. We're hunters.
Good. Go fucking move to Montana. Go move to Montana. You see how he's trying to be relatable to all you guys in other states? Name's Montana, grew up in Montana, lived in Montana, still got a ranch in Montana. We love the Montana people. Yeah,
Bow hunting for me, primarily. My son, 11 years old, got his first rifle from his grandfather, and that was a point of pride. It was emotional. Like the attachment, the history, that attachment to his grandpa now because of that. So again, I celebrate that. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, man, running a 4th largest economy in the world, size of 21 state populations combined, trying to keep people safe. We have a different approach than many states in the country, but the approach is...
Yeah, the approach is making sure the bad guys have the firearms and we get fucked as law-abiding citizens constantly with this nut job. All right, let's move on with this pandemic policies. Let's see this a little bit here.
Move forward early in the pandemic, working with the Trump administration and the advisors from the Trump administration to impose certain strategies to mitigate the impacts of this novel disease, coronavirus. What's interesting about this process is none of us have really reviewed in an objective way. It's all through the lens of politics, what we did right and what we did wrong. And so I'll answer that question by telling you what I've just tasked. I've asked our team to put together an objective review of everything we did right, everything we did wrong. We're interviewing people that vehemently disagree with us, that oppose the mask mandates, that oppose the stay-at-home orders, people that are international experts. We're stress testing our entire process. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Comparing and contrasting to what other states did. I mean, Florida shut down their bars and restaurants before California. The The question was, when did we start to unwind some of those restrictions? California was more restrictive, and we were certainly aggressive at scale. As it relates to vaccines save lives. But Joe asked a very different question about children.
You see the sliminess of that? I'm going to call it out every time I see it, because I want you guys to make sure that when you see this guy doing speeches in the future, you're able to call out the maneuver. Oh, vaccines save lives. Yeah. Guess what? Fucking COVID didn't. That's not what you sold us on. You sold people that you weren't going to get COVID and that you couldn't pass it on to other people, you nut job. But you're saying, oh, well, vaccine saves lives. Yeah. But we're talking about COVID. We're talking about COVID. There's a reason why you need 20 jabs and it still doesn't do anything. Get the fuck out of here.
And I respect that. And that was where there was a lot of feedback with a lot of experts that I had as advisors. By the way, I used advisors from 2 other states. We did this West Coast Alliance to review not just what was coming from the federal government, but to have a prism and lens on the recommendations coming from the CDC through our own independent advisors. And I took their advice, not as a doctor, but as a governor. So with humility, seriously, humility and grace, I've asked them to have that report done. It's going to be done next month. And it'll be the only state that I know of that is putting out a truly objective review of what went right and what went wrong. And I know everyone's a goddamn genius now in hindsight. But at the time, none of us knew what we were up against, including the President of the United States, who I worked very closely with. There wasn't a Democratic governor in America that worked closer during the pandemic than I did with Donald Trump. And you can go back.
That's weird, because Trump was telling you to open up your state and you wouldn't do it. For months he was doing that. He kept telling you, open up the state, open up the state. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. He's like, open up the state. He's like, I'm not going to do it. You know, you work closely with him though. Yeah, you talked on the phone.
Back and stress test that. And I say that with the kind of humility he deserves as well, and grace that he deserves in terms of the decisions he made early on. We were all up against something none of us had any experience around, and we counted on the experts.
What are some of the things during COVID that you think maybe were a mistake or that you could have done?
Well, I mean, we were sitting there with Purell. Remember early on, we had price gouging issues around getting Purell. We were wiping down everything in the house. And we were concerned it was airborne, and folks, you know, we were worried about people being outside even. And we realized then, after the fact, what the hell are we doing shutting down the beaches and open areas, and, you know, and not understanding that early on. And so I think that of all issues, looking back, I remember Florida.
No, you didn't understand that. We all understood it. See, Gavin, you keep focusing on like acting as if we're a part of you and your team and your idiocracy. No. And by the way, Adam Carolla has knocked you upside your damn fucking head over this, and I'm sorry to cuss, but it pisses me off. Oh, yeah, we didn't know the outside did affect. Yes, we did. Yes, we freaking did, and we all complained that you're shutting down the parks and that you're masking kids. We were complaining about it, but you want to know maybe why I didn't get to you, Gavin? Because you silenced us with fucking big tech, you nut job. You silenced us. We couldn't say anything. People couldn't go anywhere. You could go anywhere you wanted to, Gavin, but we couldn't. And so we were silenced. We were booted off Facebook. We were booted off TikTok, YouTube. And by the way, that's a lot of why these big influencers are over at Rumble, Gavin, because you guys utilize big tech, you Democrat psychos, to silence everybody. You couldn't even talk about COVID. You couldn't even bring it up. Maybe that's why. Because you sheltered. You're in a bubble and you're a liar.
That was a big issue.
You could tell I don't like this guy. This is evil. This dude is evil. And I mean that. Man, this is like Adam Schiff shit. I really don't like this guy. I don't trust him. He's slimy. He's driven our state into the ground. I know I'm repeating myself. There's very few people I act like this with. This guy is fucking disgusting.
Too, even there, not just in California.
No, I mean, it was in Florida. I remember they had that cruise ship off the coast of Florida that was just stuck there.
Yeah.
For, I can't remember how long.
And I say that because, look, at Florida, I keep bringing up because I think there's sort of this sort of triumphant new narrative. It's all myth making. It's all storytelling narrative. There's some truth to it, but there's a lot of bullshit about it. You know, Florida had worse educational outcomes during COVID than California. Kids did worse on reading and math scores. Fact. 3 out of the 4 areas, 4th grade reading and 8th grade reading and math, 3 out of the 4 categories California outperformed. From a health perspective, they had more per capita deaths than California. And from a wealth perspective, their GDP contracted more than the state of California. I mean, on 3 key areas.
Did you catch that again? You see the sliminess? Listen to this.
Perspective, they had more per capita deaths than California. And
did you see that though? Did you see the sliminess? Is that he's conflating the per capita deaths to exactly COVID? You see what he's doing there? That they had more deaths because it had to do with COVID. Isn't that a wild accusation? That conflation of data right there. I mentioned this. You see how natural it is coming off this guy, of how he just spins this shit just so naturally, and it's just normal for people. And because people are idiots, they're going, oh my God, yeah, Florida was way worse off than California was. Yeah. Because all he does is spin because he's slimy.
From a wealth perspective, their GDP contracted more than the state of California. I mean, on 3 key areas, there's a lot of mythology around what they did versus, again, big blue state, California. Again, we weren't the only state doing it, but the state of mind of the California derangement syndrome. There's a Trump derangement syndrome, no question. But there's also California derangement syndrome.
No, there's not.
As if California stands unique in some of these interventions and respects. It's true in some, but not all. I just think more objective minds should review. And for one reason, we're going to have another one of these damn things. And we're totally unprepared because we're so distrustful of everybody. And again, we see the world purely through the lens of red versus blue. And so to Joe, that's a good question. And I want an objective answer, not a political answer. And that's why.
But all he does is give you political answers, as you have seen.
Task these folks to objectively stress test what we did right, what we did wrong.
What are some of the things that are, I mean, how far along are you in that poll?
They're almost done. They've been working on this 6 months. In fact, not only 6 months, a couple of years ago at Sunnylands, California, which is an amazing place down near Palm Springs, I invited and convened a group of international experts around COVID, and they began the process of stress testing. The interviews that are going to inform this report were done then a few years ago.
Who talks like this?
And now we're really looking through all the data, which is county by county. Remember, California's, I know we did the stay-at-home order, which was top-down, but a lot of the local
talks like that? I don't know a single
really
person other than
informed the
ASL's
pathway
people.
ultimately out of this process or out of COVID. And so each county had different approaches. Because each region in the state is radically different. Big rural areas didn't have the issues of density that downtown Los Angeles may have. So you had different rules and regulations. We probably would have, I'm assured this report will show, we should have started with the flexibility earlier in the process. But again, we didn't know what we were up against.
Yeah, you did.
So I think those are examples.
Yeah, we did. After a while, we did know what we were up against. Matter of fact, both me and my coworker, who has master's in statistics, the guy could probably get a PhD in statistics if he wanted to. We were actually talking about the data ourselves. We were pulling up the studies at our workplace, both stats teachers, and going through the stats, going, this is insane that we're locked down. This is wild that we are locked down. And every time we kept bringing out the data, we would talk about it together. I got lunch with the guy like 2 weeks ago. We still talk about it to this day.
Examples of areas where going forward, we want to inform whoever's in leadership going forward how to approach a novel virus. But vaccines, man, save lives, period, full stop. I'm just not, by the way, RFK Jr. is a friend of mine. I was with him in the governor's office.
Really?
Talking about, he handed me, I think I have 6 or 7 damn books he gave me, all these attacking big pharma, et cetera. He's an old friend. One of my environmental heroes. The guy's next level. Wrote some of the best environmental books in this country, connecting to God and Mother Nature, connecting to generations. I mean, there was a spiritual quality to how he expresses himself.
I'll be honest with you guys. I'm going to go to the chat right now. I don't know if I can listen to this shit any longer. I'm going to leave it up to the Patriots. Do we continue with this shit or do we just cut it off here? I'm going to let you guys decide. Let me know. Cut it off or continue. That's all we need to write. I personally don't want to listen to this shit anymore. I don't know if I can. This guy's slimy as fuck, man. I'll sit through it with you. Trust me. I will sacrifice. It's not a big sacrifice, to be honest. Okay. That's all I need to hear. I just need one person, 2 people. That's fine. We're moving on. Fucking guys, actually, I can't do it. You guys, there's not many things that I can't listen to. The dude's nothing but a liar. Nothing but a liar. There wasn't much truth that came out of his mouth in those few segments that we went over. There's 4 hours of that. 4.5 hours of that crap. Can't do it. I apologize. I just don't have it in me, man. Not today. I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna lose it. Well, here's Trump saying pharmaceuticals will be tariffed. Why don't we go to this? We'll go to this screen right here, and we'll kind of just go through some X stuff for a little bit, kind of see what's breaking. I hope you guys are okay with that. Kind of see what's going on here. Pharmaceuticals will be tariffed probably at the end of the month. Now, inflation numbers did come up. I think we hit 2.7%. We're still in range of what we want to be, but I expect that could potentially surpass 3% in the coming months, folks, with these tariff increases. We'll have to see.
Pharmaceuticals will be tariffed probably at the end of the month. And we're going to start off with a low tariff and give the pharmaceutical companies a year or so to build. And then we're going to make it a very high tariff because we got to move them in. Look, there's two ways you do it. You make money or you have them move here so they don't have to pay the tariff. Those are the two ways. The pharmaceutical companies are moving back to America where they should be. Pharmaceutical.
And people keep leaving this out of the conversation. I noticed this even with conservative Republicans on TikTok as I'm going through these debates, so I can relay it back to you guys, is they're missing the component that if you build it here and if you transform in a substantial way the product on its final stages, you can skip out on that tariff. That's what people are missing out on. If you produce your products here, you can still produce them in China. You can still produce them in other places. But as long as you're manufacturing here and you meet the requirements that Donald Trump has set in place, you skip out on the tariffs. I don't know why people are continually missing that piece. Oh, there's tariffs. It's just a why. Like, there are, but you could bypass them. Now, the numbers went up because, those tariffs inflate the cost of that good if the good is passed on to the consumer. And that's what it seems to be passed down to in some way, shape, or form. So here's another one on the tariffs. Payments start on August 1st. They start paying billions of dollars. You're going to get a lot of money.
Payments start on August 1st. The only thing that's really sacred about August 1st is that's when payments start. So they have to start paying billions of dollars to you and people. Are you a citizen of the country? Yes, sir. All right, good. You'll be very happy because you're going to be getting a lot of money. Just like they found a budget surplus. We have a budget surplus of $25 billion. Everyone said, how did that happen? It hasn't happened in many years. It happened because of good management and tariffs. Payments start.
And that's without even the Doge stuff really going into effect. I mean, where's it at? Oh, let me find it for you guys really quick. Home Depot, the guy that owns Home Depot came out. Folks, this guy, the founder of Home Depot, was a dude that was against Trump. And he came out and said this on, I think it was Fox, CNBC. Here it is. This is the founder of Home Depot.
Let me tell you right now, I am sold on Trump. In fact, I'll say this. I think he's got a good shot at going down in history as one of our best presidents ever.
That is a real turnaround because you didn't want to vote for him.
I tell you the reason. I want to tell you, I'm a believer. What I'm seeing happening is absolutely nothing short of a great thing. And there's a beat. People are walking with more bounce in there. It's all around.
I gave you quite a bit of grief.
Huh?
I gave you grief.
You give me grief?
I gave you grief when it was a binary choice. You're still complaining about Trump and it was a binary choice. It's like, are you kidding me?
Knowledge implies one thing. When you made a mistake, admit it.
Okay.
I think this guy is turning out to be a president.
Right.
One of the pilots on that miraculous trip to Iran that we wiped out, whatever the hell we wiped out.
Right.
He said, you're the only guy that in the presidency that would have done what you did. One of the pilots said that.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's probably right.
Yep. We have new border data for the month of June highlights the lowest month encounters ever recorded.
Also tonight, new border data for the month of June highlights the lowest month of encounters ever recorded.
0.
Customs and Border Protection says it is the second month in a row of 0 releases of illegal aliens into the U.S., compared to almost 28,000 releases in June of last year. Also tonight, new border data for the month of June highlights the lowest month of encounters ever recorded. Customs and Border Protection says it is the second month in a row of 0 releases of illegal aliens into the U.S., compared to almost 28,000 releases.
Isn't this better than listening to Gavin Newsom? Isn't this better? Don't you guys just feel a little bit of pep, right? Feel like a little palate cleanser? You're welcome. Me too. Me too. Yeah. It's like throwing a little bit of ginger before you get in your next sushi bite. Holy lordy. MS-13 gang member with a history of fentanyl trafficking arrested by ICE in Rhode Island. Here we go. Another Maryland man.
ICE claims agents arrested a known MS-13 gang member in Providence over the weekend. This is a photo of 27-year-old Ivan Rene Mendoza Meza being taken into custody on Sunday. ICE tells us he is a Honduran man with a history of fentanyl trafficking charges in Rhode Island. ICE claims...
Dude, looks like he was smiling in his photo. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Here's another thing. Last December, 10,000 plus illegals were being encountered at the southern border every day, and most were released. 6,000 illegals were encountered over an entire month, and 0 were released. They saw less people than Joe were seeing in an entire day in an entire month. Joe was seeing 6,000 illegals in one sector in an entire day. I mean, just completely different presidency, man. This is exactly what I wanted. And I mentioned, if I don't get anything else from Donald Trump, which I know is not going to take place, I'm going to get a lot more things. I already have. I got my tax stuff in. We got a secure border, man. And that's what I wanted. Stop the bleeding and fix this. And that's what he's doing. And I got to keep reminding myself too, guys. I got to keep reminding myself that it's only been not even 6 months yet. It'll be 6 months and 5 days. 6 months. And look at what we've gotten done. And we still have 3.5 more years of this. 3 years, 6 months, and 5 days of this greatness.
Today, because we believe that America's destiny is to dominate every industry and be the first in every technology, and that includes being the world's #1 superpower in artificial intelligence. And we are way ahead of China. I have to say, we're way ahead of China, and the plants are starting up, the construction's starting up. And did you notice that 2 days ago they just announced that they had a budget surplus of $25 billion in this country? Right, Howard? They never saw anything like that. Everyone's saying, where did that? That's been like decades. 25
I've never
billion,
seen it. I don't think I've seen it in my lifetime.
Compared to what it's, and it's good business practices. The tariffs are coming in by the hundreds of billions of dollars, and they're really at the infant stage right now. It's only on cars and steel, mostly. And the rest is starting to kick in.
Now that you're also going to see a correlation, you should see at least a correlation. I could be wrong, but you should see a correlation to the surplus in conjunction with inflation somewhat. Like there is at least a correlation there. How strong that is, I don't know. But you should see inflation boost up a little bit because the cost of that good to produce is being passed on to the consumer in some way, shape, or form. I'm not saying if there's a 10% tariff on it, all 10% is going. Now, it's a mind-blowing statement from Democrats. They go, well, isn't that just a tax on Americans? Yeah, in a way it is, truthfully, to be honest, right? I'm not going to bullshit you guys. It's basically a tax. I just find it hysterical that the Democrats are complaining about high taxes. They've all become conservatives. In the last 5 months, they've all become fiscal conservatives. They don't want higher taxes. They're complaining about things being taxed. It's so freaking unbelievable. I love him. Look at, he's great. Isn't he? Like a smile, just getting shit done. More money back in your pocket. And by the way, I think there's a case to be made, depending on what your spending behavior looks like. this increase in goods based on these tariffs could be offset potentially by the money that you're getting back in your pockets with the tax cuts. So it depends how it works out. I'm not saying that's for everybody. I don't even know the math on it, but it's something that could be taking place for you. Now, I'm not going to go into me being frugal. I don't buy things, but tax cuts are great. That's what I'm looking really forward to. Here we have Stephen Miller. We love Stephen. It's been a while since we got to see some of his action, but here he is talking about directly encouraging and incentivizing violence against our heroic ICE officers and really slamming the Democrats in the mainstream media.
Deporting child predators and child rapists from these communities in mass. We are removing drug dealers. We are removing gang members. We have multiple foreign terrorist organizations like the Sinaloa cartel, like Tren de Aragua, like MS-13, that were imported in vast numbers by the Biden administration to rape, kill, maim, and murder innocent Americans. So that's the dystopia that we are healing, that we are resolving by getting these monsters out of our country. And as we are doing that under President Trump's leadership, Democrats are leading an insurrectionist mob to try to murder ICE officers. I can't be clear enough about this. The rhetoric from Governor Newsom, the rhetoric from Karen Bass, the rhetoric from Democrat leaders in Washington is directly encouraging and incentivizing murderous migrant mobs to attack ICE officers. When they describe ICE officers, these heroes, as some kind of fascist force, some kind of Gestapo force, they are using the language that is meant to justify violence. ICE officers are literally in real time liberating American communities, once peaceful, once idyllic American communities from an invasion force. I cannot imagine a nobler, a more righteous activity for any American to do than to go into these communities, face off against hostile mobs, and literally free them from the forces of destruction and violence.
He's not wrong. He is not wrong. There's a big thing here, and I want to see if I still have it, with, I think it was Apple talked about it. Something about Apple's big investment. I don't know if you guys saw. Let me see if I can find it here. It might have been on Fox Business, but Apple was going to do like a $500 million investment or something like that. Let me see if I can find that for you, folks. Apple investment. News. Here we go. Right here. Come on. Oh boy, we got the spinning wheel of death here. All right, so Apple expands U.S. supply chain with $500 million commitment to American rare earth magnets. Today, Apple announced a new commitment of $500 million with MP Materials, the only fully integrated rare earth producer in the United States. With this multi-year deal, Apple is committed to buying American-made rare earth magnets developed at MP Materials' flagship Independence facility in Fort Worth, Texas. The two companies will work together to establish a cutting-edge rare earth recycling line in Mountain Pass, California, and develop novel magnet materials and innovative processing technologies to enhance magnet performance. The commitment is part of Apple's pledge to spend more than $500 billion in the United States over the next 4 years and builds on the company's long history of investment in American innovation, advanced manufacturing, and next-generation recycling technologies. So that's a huge thing there. It's nice to see. I mean, a lot of us were waiting on this, like, okay, where's all this investment going to take place? Well, part of that $500 billion, you got the $500 million taking place right there. So a long way still to go, but it's nice to see that things are happening and moving and not just waiting for 2-3 years. And then you realize, oh, well, they actually went back. They're not really doing any sort of investment here whatsoever. So that's things moving, things being invested back here on American soil. Some things are interesting here. I don't know if any of you caught up with American Idol or have been watching this, but it looks like the American Idol music boss, Robin Kay, and husband found her murdered in their LA home. I mean, this is terrible. Let's break this down here really quick. I'm going to have to go to TMZ for more information. A suspect is now in custody after Robin Kay, a longtime American Idol music supervisor, and her husband were found murdered in their Los Angeles mansion. Kay and her husband, Thomas, were found deleted inside their Encino home after LAPD officers conducted a welfare check. Both were 70 years old. Quote, "We were devastated to hear Robin and her husband, Tom, passing," an American Idol spokesperson told Fox News Digital. Robin had been a cornerstone of the Idol family since 2009 and was truly loved and respected by all who came in contact with her. Robin will remain in our hearts forever, and we share our deepest sympathy with her family and her friends during this difficult time, which is just terrible. God, you live an amazing life, and it's just, it makes you wonder if they got robbed or something. I mean, they got these fences, you know what I mean? But remember, we were told fences don't work by the Democrats, but they got fences. Fences don't keep people out, unfortunately, totally, that they are a hindrance. So officers saw blood near the entrance of the home and broke a window to gain access inside. They discovered the couple were shot. Kay was found dead in the pantry while the body was found in a bathroom. LAPD told Fox News Digital that the case is being handled by the homicide. Oh, here we go. TMZ also reported that police had responded to the same property on Thursday after neighbors said they spotted someone jumping a fence and possibly trying to break in. Officers reportedly found no sign of forced entry at the time. During an interview with Fox News Digital, there was those who serviced the couple's pool every week recalled having a conversation with DeLuca about another attempted break-in, which he said occurred about a month and a half ago. So these guys, it sounds like maybe even a robbery. I don't know. So matter of fact, let me see if there's any updates on TMZ with this story. Terrible nonetheless. Looks like Ghislaine Maxwell's in the news, so we'll go to that in just one moment. There's a couple things in here in the news we'll have to spot out here. Here we go. And yeah, that looks good for you guys. Okay, so update out of this 12:07, so 5 hours ago. A local law enforcement tells Robin and Thomas were both shot in the head and they were found in different rooms. We're told cops are revealing surveillance footage and no one is in custody as of now. This doesn't appear to be a burglary because the home was not ransacked. Man, that's weird. I mean, heinous, of course, terrible. Our sources say police found no signs of a break-in when they responded. So there you go. Man, that's just god awful, huh? It really is. It's terrible. Freaking. But remember, they don't want you to have limited firearms in the state of California. I wonder if they had firearms. I hope that they did. We'll leave that up here for now for the gentlemen. Just a little bit of eye candy for you. Something to, wet your whistle with. Some would say. But this is, who is this? Cindy Sweeney. Maybe in the running for the next Bond girl. That I am not against. She's a looker. If you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. All right, moving on. We're having fun here. This is, where is it? What I wanted to get to. So here's this guy. Minnesota lawmaker shooting suspect claimed Tim Walz told him to kill senators, left note for FBI's Patel. The man accused of murdering a Minnesota politician and seriously injuring another left a handwritten letter to FBI Director Kash Patel confessing to the shootings and claiming Minnesota Governor Tim Walz approached him about killing 2 U.S. senators, at least according to federal prosecutors. Now, the guy sounds like he's out of his mind, but you never know nowadays. With conspiracy theorists and how much they've been right, I listen. I don't believe in it, but I listen. Vance Bolter, is that am I saying the last name correctly, Patriots? Was indicted Tuesday by a federal grand jury in Minnesota on murder and stalking charges in the killing of State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark Hortman. Oh, they got to take us to a new site. Come on. Thompson reported investigators found a handwritten note addressed to Patel in a vehicle abandoned near his home, in which Bolter claims he had been trained by U.S. military off the books and conducted missions in Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. What? What's more, Thompson said in the letter, Bolter claimed Walz, who was Kamala Harris's running mate in the 2024 election, approached him about deleting Minnesota's 2 senators. Thompson said the letter was delusional and pure fantasy. I wouldn't doubt it. As you know, Bolter is suspected of dressing up as a police officer to get to the Hortmans. I mean, he was going to go to, I guess he allegedly did go to other people's houses as well. And they weren't there. Thank God. This just shows you how crazy people are, man. I don't answer my front door. I'll tell you what, you come knocking at my place. I'm a Second Amendment advocate, and I told you I'm a hardcore Second Amendment advocate. Here's Ghislaine Maxwell in prison, life in the fast. Ghislaine, let's see what they did there. No traffic on exercise track. So here she is. Oh, hey, Manny Pacquiao. Hey, Manny. Well, there you go. We might as well play this. I'm kind of into this a little bit.
In his way stands WBC champion Mario Barrios.
Mario Barrio. Everybody loves Mario. As President Donald Trump's administration faces a brouhaha over newly released details in the disputed Epstein files over last week. We're getting a peek into Epstein's one-time girlfriend and co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, warming up the track at the Florida Penitentiary where she's been doing time. That's not me. That's them. Well, she's alive. I can't believe nobody's reached out to any of like the female prisoners that are also there just to see if she's talked a little bit at all. You know what I mean? When you've been in there for years, you just kind of start talking, you know. She's currently serving a 20-year prison sentence with lots and lots of barbed wire as a backdrop. Yeesh. Yeesh. All right, we're going to see if there's any breaking news right now. If not, then we're going to cut the podcast here. I think I covered everything. I think we're just on top of the news, man. I'm feeding you guys everything that's out right now, and we're not cutting any corners here. We're keeping it straight. Let's see here if I'm missing any breaking news. Minnesota shooter's letter. We just talked about that. NASA's discovery signal sending super. What the? Let's go over this. This seems fun. This is more of a spooky adventures thing, but let's check this out. Let me zoom in for you blind bats in the chat. I can't see it, Brad, please. I can't have my glasses on. NASA discovers signal sending super Earth planet. NASA, through its transitioning exoplanet survey satellite, called TESS, has discovered a super Earth named TOI-8. Why do we do this shit? Okay. Just give it a name. Located 154 light years away. Well, that's not far at all. This exoplanet, which is almost twice the size of Earth and 4 times as massive, orbits a small, cool red dwarf star every 4 days. The scientific community noted its discovery due to a repeated signal observed as a dip in the star's light, prompting further investigation into whether these signals might indicate natural astronomical phenomena or something else. Maybe life. Are there aliens out there? Which is what Supernatural is all about. I'm very much into that. I love this. This is incredible. So that's what's going on, folks. Maybe life out there. I don't know. I don't know if there's aliens or what, but interesting nonetheless. I always jump in your guys' chats, and it's always different. It's always different, but I love it. I hope you guys are having a good time here. All right. Well, with that being said, we're going to cut the show. We've been streaming for almost an hour and a half. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry, I thought the Gavin Newsom stuff was going to be a little bit better, but man, what a Debbie Downer. But look, we got Anna Navarro acting racist once again. Whoopi Goldberg thinks the Democrat Party is messaging. That's hilarious. And then Stephen Miller put in the work. So is Donald Trump's with the tariffs and the surpluses that we're dealing with. And looks like we maybe found another planet that might have life on it. Pretty damn good podcast. I got to say, I'm pretty content. I always get blessed that I get to hang out with you people. I really do. I'm lucky. And it looks like you guys have a good time in the chat, which is what's really important as well. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be there or be square. Covering all the major headlines you need to know about. Make sure you follow me on all platforms if you can. TikTok, YouTube, Rumble, each and every direction. Thank you to everybody again, you guys. That's been on my mind all day. You guys being so generous with your donations this morning. That really moved me, and everybody that donates every month. Just I want to say thank you again. That I was talking about it with my wife, the conversation that we had this morning about, February is coming up and talking about what we're going to do with the show and how we can make it a little bit different and maybe do more stuff like we did, talking about TMZ and what's going on with Hollywood and culture and stuff like that. So we're not going anywhere. I don't want you guys to think I'm leaving you. I could never. I put too much work into this damn channel, and we're going to keep it going. But I appreciate you guys nonetheless. And I hate speaking too soon on stuff. I'm really thinking about doing a ghost investigation. I fucking been talking about it for years. I've been talking about this shit for 4 years. I am really thinking about doing it. Like maybe just going to the Queen Mary and getting that haunted room and just seeing if we can hear some shit. You know what I mean? Hey, by the way, I wouldn't bullshit you guys. If we get something, it's like that's legit shit. I ain't pulling. It ain't for views. It ain't for clicks. It's for me more than anything. And I just upload it. But we'll see. We will see. I've been saying I'm going to do it for 4 years and never have. I mean, I got to get the equipment. You got to get microphones, right? You got to get all the shit. You can't just go out and film this stuff with your cell phone. You got to do it right. God bless you guys. I appreciate you. I love you. If I do anything like that, I'll let you know. It's been crossing my mind. Anywho, all right. Well, I just want to hang out with you guys. Don't leave me, please. Don't leave me, Patriots. All righty, we're getting out of here. God bless you. See you in about 12 hours, folks. God bless you. Pray for this country. Pray for Donald Trump. Pray for the world peace that we need here. See you tomorrow morning. Peace.